Problem with plastic is that it's designed to last forever and yet also to be thrown away. We are living in a throwaway society now. This is quite a recent development, in fact. A generation ago, things were kind of built to last, but not the case in the present. Everything comes in a disposable container, and everything is thrown away. There is recycling, obviously, but unfortunately a very, very small percentage, about 5%, for example, of our plastics is actually recovered and recycled. 50% winds up in landfills, and the other 45% is unaccounted for. And to throw some figures at you, the average American uses 215 plastic bottles per year. Okay. 2.5 million plastic bottles per hour are thrown away. 2.5 million per hour thrown away of plastic bottles. And 25 billion styrofoam cups are thrown away in the US every year. That gives you an idea of how much pollution is occurring. Now, these plastics are finding their way into our oceans. You know, there's spillover from trash, there's litter, there's stuff is washing down the storm drains. It's finding a way into our rivers, it's blocking our waterways, and it's making its way into our oceans. And in the oceans, there are these islands of floating trash forming. That have formed and are continuing to form, but these are huge areas. We're talking, in some cases, twice as large as the United States, the North Pacific Gyre, or Pacific Garbage Patch is the most prominent of these. So these are huge areas of basically floating trash islands. Okay, now if these keep growing, eventually they're going to touch our shores, and then we're going to have a plastic beach. Okay, so then the problem is not going to be out there, some plastic floating island. It's going to be, boom, on your beach, my kid is swimming in a sea of plastic bottles. So I don't think anybody wants that. But apart from that, these floating plastic debris are being broken down by the sun, by wave action, into smaller and smaller particles. But they're not disappearing, because that's the nature of plastic. They are, in fact, getting smaller and smaller and dispersing and creating this plastic soup that is becoming our ocean. And this is getting ingested by marine animals, such as marine birds. About 45% of marine birds have been found to contain plastics within their body. Turtles, cetaceans, and fish are all ingesting these bits of plastic. And in turn, we are going to ingest these bits of plastic because we eat the fish. So it's working its way into our food chain, which is no joke, because these little bits of plastic are toxic and have caused death in many marine animals, from turtles to birds to fish. So, you know, so this is a major, major problem, basically. And I don't want you to panic and go, oh my God, we're doomed. Because we can actually pull together and do something about this. Like organizations like the Institute of the Five Gyres are organizing trawls to clean up the garbage patches, and we basically can follow some steps to reduce our own plastic footprint, if you will, such as using a metal flask to carry your water, as opposed to buying bottled water. You could filter your own water at home, fill up your flask, carry it with you during the day, and buy less bottled water, if at all. So that would be really important, because a lot of the stuff is plastic water bottles and plastic beverage bottles. And you could use a renewable shopping bag at the supermarket as opposed to a plastic bag. A plastic bag can take up to 1,000 years to disintegrate if in a landfill or in the environment. So that's a hell of a long time. So using reusing bags, taking your own bag, using a permanently reusable bag, that'll make a huge impact as well. Obviously, using as little plastic as possible. If you have the choice, avoid it. Glass, aluminum is more easily recyclable into the same thing, into itself again. You can take a can and you can recycle it and you can use it as a can. But with PET plastics and oil-based plastics, if you recycle them, you downgrade their recycling. So, in other words, a plastic bottle can never be a plastic bottle again. It has to downgrade. So, plastic and so glass and aluminium are better in a way. And then there are companies actually manufacturing bioplastic, which is plastic which is created from corn, from starch. Creates a polymer which is actually biodegradable, and it can degrade in as little as 90 days in the environment and be composted and reutilized. It's also very easy to recycle comparatively. So there are companies manufacturing bioplastic, such as, for example, the London Bioplastic Company or London Biopackaging Company, and supporting these companies and placing orders with them and getting it into the marketplace is also key, because as they grow, so will investment, and it's great to just get out there, utilize their products. So that's another thing you can do, and I think if we all pull together, we can help put a stop to this as soon as possible and have clean oceans for our children and our surfers, and just generally a cleaner world, a cleaner environment. Thank you very much.